Good morning, it's Craig here, 6th of January. I'm not in the usual location this morning in the shed. I'm staying in a hotel for a couple of nights, so I'll be here tomorrow morning as well. I just finished planning section 4.2 of the novel, which was really nice. It was easier to plan than section 4.1 now that I've got a bit of the momentum and the pace is sort of tracking nicely. The tempo of the section felt really nice, which was something I was thinking about yesterday. I think one of the things that I was really happy about too this morning that I got to at the end of the planning session was thinking about the scenes that I'm composing for each act. So just, and I feel like I say this every video, but the just the structural breakdown of what I'm doing. So the novel has two parts. Each novel has three chapters. Sorry, each part has three chapters. So from a total of 6 chapters across 2 parts. Each chapter has 4 acts, which I'm calling like Act 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, 4.4, for example, for chapter 4. And then within each act, I've got 5 scenes that are comprising the act, and they won't be necessarily numbered. They're just 5 scenes that I recognise as being very distinct parts of that act. And with the way the word count breaks down from 80,000 words for the full novel, so 40,000 words per part, and then each chapter what have I got? Each chapter's around 13,000 parts, words off the top of my head, and then each act is around 3,000 words. That 3 times 4, 12, yeah, so say around that. Each act is around 3 and a bit thousand words, which means that each scene within that act is around 665 words. And so what I've been doing has been planning each scene within the act as if it's going to be around 600 words, which is a pretty manageable size at this time to sort of plan and think about. But one of the things I've been wondering is whether I've been loading some scenes with too much content, too much action to actually take place within 600 words. And for other scenes, I'm thinking, is that actually going to be a little bit light for 600 words? I don't want to just have to feel like I'm filling things up with a lot of description to just get to the word count. Because I know they all don't have to be perfectly balanced in size, but it is something that I want. I want a particular balance there so that I know it's not being weighted too heavily in particular parts, and it gets to the word count neatly in a good fashion overall. So one of the things I was thinking I'm going to do on the next round of outline revisions is to look at each, because at the moment I've got a nice description of each scene. It's around 200 words. I'm doing like as a scene description for those 5 scenes in an act, but I'd like to actually thin slice those scenes a bit more. I always seem to do thin slicing. So take a scene that's 665 words, slice it 3 ways, so it's got a beginning, a middle and an end, and for each of those parts, those micro scenes, to be around 222 words, or 221.6 repeater words for that. So then what that means is when I go back through and do the next round of outline revision, I'll be obviously sort of revising the entire novel, the outline, the structural arrangements, making sure it's all exactly as it should be, adding things, taking things away. But when I come to the scenes within each of the acts that I'm planning, I'm going to be cutting them in those 3 ways and actually putting the allotment of how does the scene start, what's the middle, what's the end, because I feel that that's going to really benefit the tempo of each my favourite word at the moment, the tempo of each scene, so that it doesn't just end up that some scenes feel like they're packed full of stuff going on very quickly. Some scenes end up a bit murky and a bit of a blobby, descriptive mess. I want to make sure that even before I get to the prose writing stage, well, especially before I get to the prose stage, I want to be making sure each scene is really well paced, and I understand exactly how it's going to start, how it's going to end, what the middle's going to be, so that in the same way that I'm structuring the whole novel, I'm also really tightly structuring each scene. So when it comes time to write, I have a really good idea of 200 words to open up this scene. I know exactly what that's going to be, what the middle's going to be, the end. I think while I know a lot of the improvised magic comes from when you are actually doing the writing of the prose, I still feel that those structural spaces that you make for that to happen in is very important, to make sure that they are not too big, so you're having to improvise on a big scale. I think you improvise on a small scale, just a couple of bars of improvisation, and then you'll have a better sense of where it's going to go from there. So that was what I learned this morning. Like I said, the act itself, 4.2, is I'm really happy with it, and looking forward to doing 4.3 tomorrow morning. And I made a note for myself to go back and do that three-way slice of the scenes in the next round of outlining, which will probably start in probably just over a week. So yeah, thank you very much. Hope you have a nice day, and I'll be back tomorrow morning.